You want me to get started? I see that we have 0 attendees so far. Oh,
Yes, go ahead.
well,
Or we can wait maybe, yeah, give it a couple of minutes.
okay.
That way we can have someone else join.
Here, I'll actually just get started. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Derek Kippa. I am a solution architect here at Decisions, and today we're doing our daily lunch and learn. Today's Thursday at noon. So before we get started, there's a couple announcements. First thing, this Wednesday, March 23rd from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern, Decisions is hosting one of a business transformation series explaining how financial institutions are fueling revenue and customer growth through automation technology. For this, we actually have a link, decisions.com/events, and I will provide this into the chat. And then in addition to that, please click on the featured event webinar, Growing Your Banking Consumer Base Faster and Smarter Loan Organization to register. So I also have an additional link for this webinar, which is on Wednesday the 23rd. Jeff Ward, Director of Innovation Financial Services at Decisions, will host Jim Perry, Financial Services Marketing Guru of Marketing Insights Incorporated. Don't miss Jeff and Jim's discussion about leverage lending edge technology to gain a competitive advantage against larger financial institutions. Please join us as we showcase how dynamic tools can be used to achieve faster and smarter loan origination. So please register now. That's the Zoom link that I provided, and that again is on Wednesday, March 23rd. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask. Yeah, so there was no pre-questions today. So I see that we have a couple attendees. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to post them into the Q&A or the chat, and you're more than welcome to come off mute as well. I can unmute you as well if you want to discuss any challenges that you might be facing at this time or have any questions you would like for me to answer. Hey, Mari, was there any pre-questions for today?
No, we don't have any pre-submitted questions, no.
Okay. So there's no questions. So there's someone that's raising their hand. I'm gonna actually ask you to come off mute, David.
Yeah, I got two for you.
Okay, perfect.
I guess what's the best way to if I do a step, something like list files in a directory by extension, and I only want it to look in that specific directory and none of its subs. What's the best way to go about doing that? And then I guess once we get through that one, then I guess I have a second question too.
So are you using like list files in directory, or you're just trying to see how you would actually do that?
Yeah.
Would be the best way. Yeah, here, I'm actually gonna pull up my local. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I have a version 7. Oh, maybe not that one. Let me see. So local. Yeah, so there's a couple ways. We have a couple default steps that would actually accomplish this. So if I actually pull up a flow section and we look at, so in a flow, I'll just create a random one. There's a couple like system default flows that we use. You could also type in like list, or it might be files. So if you're looking for a directory, so you can see that you have this step right here. There's list files in directory. Pretty much how this works is you actually have to type in the full folder path. So if I type in C just as a test right here, I might have to go through a couple of iterations of this. But I believe,
I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you have to use the fully qualified, like the UNC path.
Yeah, could be right. I might have to pull up a folder path really quick and see if it'll actually pull anything. Just give me 1 second while I do that. So see decisions, program files, decisions. Okay. I actually have my slashes backwards too. So if I just do that, will that do it? Nope. All right, if I do, yeah, every now and then I have to play around with this step. So you can see actually that worked. So when I actually had my folder path, like passed,
Yeah.
so I did C program files slash decisions. So you actually have to give it a folder path to list the files within the directory. In here, you could see that it actually brought in the additional files from like the subdirectory. So I had a subdirectory.
Right.
So it went to decisions, in which I told it, and then it also went to decision servers, decisions, and actually got the additional files. Are you trying to list actually the files, or you just want to see like the subdirectories
Yeah,
within
I'm
a
trying to
directory?
list the files that would only be in your folder of program files decisions and not any of the subs.
And not the subs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great question. So find files, so list files, load all files with extension, find files. So I might have to drop, if you're looking for a file in specific, you're able to do this, but if you actually want to do the directory, sometimes when you come down into the properties of your toolbox, there's a couple different things you could look for. Typically under like integration. Is that right? Yeah. Integration has a lot of steps that you cannot search for within the actual search bar.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to break it down. So
Yeah.
if I actually go to like internal services and then I look for files. So there might be.
Yeah. So the way, I guess, I don't know if it's the way I went about it was like, say I have that directory, for example, program files decisions. So I know that I want to look for files that are in there. And then I went and got another step to list subdirectories under, I think it's integration file. And so that gives me a list of the that, and then so basically I get a list of subs, and then I get a list of files from my list file step, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put that into um a rule filter, a rule collection filter, and
And then you actually parse it out.
I say give me everything that like not starts with in list, the list of subdirectories, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I feel like there should be an easier way. So within here, it's just listing all the files from this directory on. So, which could be a little problematic in your use case. So if we just want to find, it's a great question. I haven't had a use case actually do this, but I'm sure we could accomplish it. So we're directory, database, designer. So file reference services. So download file data with path. No. In your use case that you're using right now, so when you actually, it says you're saying that you actually use a step that's very similar, if not the same one, but then you actually kind of just filter out everything else beyond this.
Yeah, basically. So like I know what the directory is. That's gonna stay constant. So the first thing I do is pull one in that says list subdirectories of that
Okay.
directory. And then
Hmm.
in my list files in directory, I know that that's going to give me files that are in that folder path and the path of all of its subs, right?
Yeah.
So, and I just take a rule collection filter and I say for my basically the entity, if it the entity would at that point be the string of the file, right? And then I'm saying return me matches where it's not where it does not start with the list of subdirectories.
Okay. Are you really looking for a better way to accomplish this? Or are you
Yeah,
facing like
I
issues?
was just asking, is there a more like is that an okay way to do it? Are there issues with it, or is there a more efficient way that I can make that happen?
I mean, the only problem that I really see, kind of like what you're facing, is if you have a ton of files in that directory, or like that directory and on. So when you actually get to that rule collection filter, you could potentially, it may wait on that step while it tries to filter out all of those files.
Yeah.
So it really depends. You may hit some performance problems depending on how large the directory with all the files can get. If you have like thousands of files within there, then yeah, it could become very problematic. Um, and if you were really looking, are you like looking for a file in particular, or you just want to see everything that's in that directory?
Kind of want to see everything that's in that directory and really for a specific extension. Like I'm looking for zip files in that specific folder. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
your list files in directory step, I'm doing a list files in directory by extension. So that's the only difference.
Okay. Yeah, because if we just want to do that, I need to see if there's anything that we could look at through this area. So there might be decisions framework. I might have to kind of like look through a few things and see if I could find anything that would be a better use case. But I mean, what you're doing so far, I think is okay, but it could be problematic. I might actually have to follow up with you on this question.
Sure.
There probably is a step we have, and if not, something that we could always do is on our side here at Decisions, we're able to submit like a feature request,
Okay, I got you.
and it could be something that they turn around pretty quick and actually are able to give you like a custom step to do this. And all you would do is just add it to your server and it would be there. I'm sure we do have something, and something I'll ask really quick is we have a support channel here at Decisions. I'll bring this up really quick and see if anyone can give me a response fairly quick.
Sure.
Just a question for just bear with me. Lunch and learn. And directory. Everything. Uh, Okay, I just posted this comment to see if I can get a quick response on this. So I could follow up on this as well. And in addition, if you provide your email, we could always reach out to you if we have any additional information. I'll kind of keep looking around too.
No problem. I'll throw it in the chat here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we could do is follow up with you if I'm not able to get a response within the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
You said you had another question as well?
Yeah. So it's funny that you went into into integration and the .NET libraries. Is there, I guess when I was looking, there wasn't really a native step to copy a file from one directory to another. And the first thing that I tried to do was grab the file to basically load and then immediately turn around and create file into a new directory.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did that, it changed my date stamp, which I kind of don't want to happen. So the way I got around that was in the .NET libraries. There's I don't know if I have the same ones that y'all do, but in Microsoft VB, it gives me a void copy file
What
boolean.
was it?
It's in. I looked in the one that for VB because that was the one that I have on mine. That
Okay.
I think it was in Microsoft.
Okay, so Microsoft.
Visual Basic, yeah.
And then
But
you
you guys
went.
may not even have it in there.
I have an older version of 7, so
okay. Yeah, mine is 6.15 anyway, so it may be.
Oh, you are? Yeah, I'm on
running slightly.
7 in this case. So that.
Yeah, I assume it would be the same thing in like in .NET or something. So
you're really trying to copy a file from one directory to another. Well, what was the issue that you faced when you did it?
without changing the date stamp.
Oh, okay. So
Because when I
here,
create file, it creates it as when I created it.
gotcha. Here, let me see if there's anything to do with copy. Hey, so I just got a follow-up question or answer. So currently, our steps do not have a way. We don't have a step to actually list only files in that directory. So something that I'm going to have to do is submit a DT, so it's a development task, and in which what we could do from there is the option that we're going to include is say include subdirectories. So it'd be like a
Just a
checkbox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They said it's a very easy add-on. But this is something that would probably be, if I submit the DT today, it would go into the next released. So currently how you have it set up might just have to be like a workaround for the time being.
Yeah, we'll do that for now until we come up to some higher version of 7, or we may wait till you'll release.
Yes, so they'll also add it to V6 as well. So if you're on like 6.15, I think the most up-to-date one's like 6.18. So they said it's an easy fix, so it could be within 6.19 release.
Oh,
So just as a heads up there.
Gotcha.
All right, so why don't I do? So you also have run list, first list, data list. Here, let me do a few things really quick. So this is kind of cool too. So if you actually have like data within your flow, so if you have like file data, so I'll just say file, and I'll actually select the type of file. And here, I got this thing right in my way. All right, close that. I'm going to close and save this and come right back in. But in your toolbox, you can see that you have data inflow. So you can see I have a file.
Yeah.
So now it shows me all the methods and everything. So there's like a before, right. You can kind of break these down. and see if there's anything in here that we could use. So we need to do advance, get property names. Let me see before right. Good questions.
Yeah,
Files
I
are
tried that too. I tried to build data, but the date stamp isn't a property on that object, so I couldn't just map the original thing in when I rewrote the file, if that makes any sense.
yeah, no, it does. So you actually built the data as like file data, like so.
No, I'm just dealing with the strings of the path. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I am dealing with file data like that, and that's the original way that I tried to go. But basically, just dealing with the path string, and then later on in that flow, I grab the file data that I need.
Okay. Let me see if I can find anything. All right. So integration. So internal services. File database. Database entity. So entity. File reference services. Get file data. File startup. Network copy file. What is this? So there is a network copy file.
Yeah, I
And
tried that guy too.
it
And
didn't work
then
out.
I wasn't really sure about what this. Yeah, I did that exact same thing to build data on that. I wasn't really sure what that. I just set that to ignore, and it bombed on me, and I was
Oh,
like,
did it?
yeah.
So this networked. I could try this and see if I could actually get something to work on my side. So this could be a way that we go about this. Here, let me. Here, I'm on my other side really quick. I'm gonna add a file to a directory. So we'll sit here and say copy. Decision. All right, so in here, I had it called fav icon, ICO. And then we're actually gonna move it into one folder deeper. Server slash. Because with this network copy file, I wonder if it's asking, because it's asking for a password, a server IP, a username, and a domain prefix. So this might not be exactly what we're looking for, but something similar. So if I try this, what does it say? Exception. Network copy class. The network path was found. So create file. File exists. I know there's easy to move, load and move, like move directory, move file by FTP, move to folder. I mean, something that you might be able to do. We can create a file entity or a file reference entity in which I think you have more options to select. So here, let me see if this will work. So file reference entity. So this is something within decisions that's actually creating a file reference entity, but we might actually be able to specify the folder path. Because you have like the created on date. So if you do load file, you might be able to like load the file by path and then be able to like create a new file, but it be able to modify the information on it. So
I see.
load. So if I did something where I did like load file, and then I say load file from not that. Here, sorry, get this thing beeping. And load from file data, I think that's what it's called. So kind of like what I'm doing here is I'm gonna fetch the file, and then where it says file name, it's gonna be by folder path. I'm gonna transform. It's gonna spit out file data. I'm gonna transform it into a file reference, and then I'm gonna save it. In which I might be able to like update that modified or the created date to whatever this file has.
I see.
Potentially. So I'll see if this works, and then we can kind of look back at it. So it's a file. Build data. Might have to load it from file path. So download file, load from path. Let me see what this gives me. So file date time. So data. So I could pass this into here, and then it's asked me a bunch of other details. Create file. So were you using like a create file to essentially copy it?
Yeah, at the very beginning, I basically loaded it and then passed the content data into the create file.
Okay. So I wonder, this might not be exactly what we're looking for either. Because we might be able to create the file and modify it too. When it comes to a lot of like files within the server, I'm not an expert in this particular area. So with the created date, I guess, so when you actually look at the directory, it's the date modified on it that you're trying to keep the same, or is it actually like the created date of the file? You wanted to keep it the exact same.
Let me look.
Just when I open my file directory, I see date modified.
Where? Sorry, I accidentally
No,
closed my Windows Explorer here.
no worries. All right, so copy file, server name, username. All right, let me look up some documentation too. Copy file. Handling DSS integration with shared network drives. Now, so that step.
I think it was showing me, I think it was still updating the date modified. Because yeah, I think the date modified is what I was after.
Okay. So the first one that we were looking at, it's integration with a shared network drive. So that copy network step. So I don't think that would be useful in our use case if you're trying to do it on your local server. So
Yeah.
if I actually go back. All right, so create file. Trying to see if there's anything that I could just see about. It's like file management, compression, zip array. It's not what I want. And methods, nothing. File data. Sorry, I'm kind of just looking around and seeing if there's anything I could find on my side.
Yeah, I'm
But
curious about it now, huh?
yeah, absolutely. So even if I were to do file data content and create the file, I'll just see what it does. So I have this create file. And then this will be www root/favicon. All right. Invoking sub class file data.
Oh, I think you're missing an N on icon.
Oh, am I? So icon.
On the end, your dot I your or is it dot or is supposed to be dot ICO on the end?
Yeah, it's that ICO. I think that's the same program file as decision server. All right, let me try this again. So what I will actually do for the that first thing you asked, I'm going to create a DT shortly,
Okay.
and then I could send you the DT number. And what that would actually do is you'll be able to track it as well. So once we actually do get that resolved, I'll create a feature request and they'll be able to add it. They said it's a pretty easy fix.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
just something that's going to be coming. It's something that we don't currently have, but I mean, it's a good.
I
It's a
got you.
good,
I mean, that'd be
good.
cool. I bet a lot of people, I mean, I don't know, like probably, I mean, like you said, haven't had a use case for it yet, but I mean, I feel like that's something a lot of people may be able to.
Yeah, I mean, the times I've had to do it is I pretty much just search by the file name. Typically, I don't like some of the use case I came across is more of just trying to find a file within the directory. But I mean, it definitely happens. Upload file with data. I'm having a hard time trying to get all this stuff. Load and rename file. Load and move. Load and delete. Load all files with extension. All right, list files directory by extension. So I see some of the steps that you were referring to earlier. File exist. So load file. See if this works. Of course not. C file. Let me try to put a file somewhere closer. Sorry for the network difficulties.
Oh, no worries. Same thing happens to me.
Yeah.
Just trial and error until you figure it out,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so in here, I'm just gonna try a different file name and see if I could actually just get this. So rename. Still nothing. All right, so load file and file steps, no input data. Could not find the file. Text.
Oh, I guess third question. Well, it's on
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as those libraries go, is there a way to install uh another library in there besides the ones that are, I guess, default with decisions?
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean by
Yeah,
like a library that we use?
so in where would it be? I think it's in integration.net libraries.
Yeah.
So I guess, like I said before, like, I mean, I saw, on yours you have you have like in Microsoft you have a bunch of other ones that I may not have, right? But
Yeah. So I think it kind of depends. Like I'm on version 7, so we have a lot of new libraries. We're trying to really make everything in-house. Like version 6, we use a lot of like third-party libraries. So a good example is like our HTML to PDF step. We use
yeah.
a library to generate a PDF from HTML. If you like had like custom libraries or custom code, yeah, absolutely. Like what you would do is you would have to kind of like make it a package, which is called a DLL, and then you're able to add it. So like if there's like a step in particular, um, like for example, like listing files in your directory that it like where you could choose to include or not include subdirectories. What you would do is essentially write it up in Visual Studio or get the code itself. So I have like Visual Studio, for example.
Right.
And then you transform this into a DLL. So you like build it. So here, I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, so you can see like I have like some custom code right here. It's downloading some details, and like what you would do is you would build this. So we have a lot of documentation on this as well.
Yeah, sure.
But what you do is if I open my file directory, like this is how you add custom code, and I'll send you the link. But you would go to like your program files, you go to decisions, decisions server, you go to modules, and then I think it's local. Might be wrong. It's core service DLLs. But yeah, what you do is you actually add it to one of these modules right here. It's in custom modules, and then you'll add the module here and restart your server. So that's pretty much how you would add a library within decisions. And then if it, I think I have an example. So like right here, like when I actually created my custom code and added it to my custom module, all of a sudden I got my steps in here. So you can see I have like this custom step that I built, which does, it's like a compounding interest of simple
Nice.
interest. So you're able to do stuff like that in which whatever the name of it is. So the namespace is like how it would appear over in the folder tree.
I gotcha.
So there's a lot of good documentation on it. And it's really under the SDK.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Mm.
I've scrolled that before, but haven't had a need for it yet, so I haven't looked at it very in depth.
Yeah, if you ever need to like add something yourself or add like a custom library with a bunch of steps, this is how you would do it. So here, let me see. So this tells you, it doesn't tell you how to add it, I don't think. Shows you the code. So GitHub repository. So you could actually like build like custom modules. So this is kind of like what it's talking about with the libraries. So zip. So I can send you a couple of these links if you want to ever see this. I might have to follow up with you on this other question too. I'm sorry, I'm just not well versed when
Yeah,
it comes
no
to
worry. Yeah, no worries. I mean,
what the files.
yeah, if I need to look at that stuff, I'll just go on I'll go on there and take a look at that SDK stuff.
Okay, all right. So one thing that I'm going to do is I'll create a DT, and that's going to be to not include subdirectories. And then you should see on our website, I could also email you the DT.
Oh, okay, cool.
DT number. So what that means is you'll be able to search for that. Like once the fix is there, it would actually release that DT number within what do you call it? Like when we do our releases. So if you come to our website and go to release notes,
Yeah.
you can see like in version 7, they'll do 7.10. And then at the very bottom, it says like DT dash blah, blah, blah. So you would see it here as well.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, sure does.
I'm sorry that I couldn't answer all of your questions.
Oh, no worries.
And then, like I said, something we'll do is follow up as well. I'll also ask about like best way to copy and move a file into new directory and keep the same properties.
Okay, I got you.
Move on to new directory. Oh, sorry. I think my screen stopped sharing. Yeah, so copy and move a file in a directory with same properties. And then I think I had your email address. Yep. Steve Pitcher.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Cool.
I'll follow up with you. So I'll let you know by like end of day if I get any news on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And-
No rush or anything. Sorry, I took up all of our time with these like basic,
no.
big questions.
Well, no, I mean they're good questions asked. It's something that I don't know, and I probably should know more about our file directory and what steps that we could use to actually accomplish this as well. So it's something I'm going to look into, and then I should get some feedback for you shortly.
Cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see if anyone else has any other questions for today. If we don't have any other questions, too, we could probably end this one just a little bit early.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I said I don't have one. So, and this may be like a larger thing. And I think I figured out a way around it. But so when some of our people, we install decisions at some of our clients, right?
Mhm.
And some of our people, when they do it, they just blow through everything and they don't really pay attention to what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna try to see if I could construct a flow that goes and validates certain settings in the settings XML file, and then also the web config file to make sure that things are doing what they're supposed to do in order to have it configured for HTTPS, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I went to go deal with the web config file, I open it up and I look at it and I say, oh, well, that's an XML file, right? So then I try to bring it into decisions and deserialize it, but there's not a namespace in that file. And then when I try to, basically when I'm trying to, I basically took that file and try to create a data type from XML. And when I do that, it says it can't output XML because there's no namespace in it, right? And I was like, okay. I don't know that there, I guess, needs to be, or if there's a reason for it or what, but like I said, I eventually ended up finding a way around it, but I was just curious.
So for the web config actually on the server side, that's where you actually try to deserialize it and hit those constraints.
Yeah, if I just opened up a folder, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you did create types and
I loaded it from yeah.
Oh, here, let me see if I could just drop mine in here. Maybe just work through this. So drop that in. So this is So the namespace is actually output of flow uses namespace.
Yeah.
Cannot be used in XML.
Yeah, so I did that and I hit the checkbox to create my steps for that configuration. And so
I see the warning.
yeah, so it created it for me. And then in my folder there, I think I get a like it's called like an XML structure or something like that.
Yeah, you like deserialize it.
Yeah, exactly. So I came to deserialize XML, and then I plug in my type that I created.
All right, so we just created this. What did I name it? Web config. All right, so XML type. Let me open a new browser really quick. See what this. All right, cool. So that's saved, and then let me close out of this. All right, it's giving me all these different ones. I'm just going to do the configuration and then string to deserialize. What I'll do is I'll copy and paste it. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me see if what it does here. All right, so I get an error. I might have the wrong type selected. But
Yeah. So when I did that, I basically I used a load.
The load from.
I used a load file from with a specific encoding on it and picked UTF-8, and that seemed to give me.
Okay. Load from file. It could be if it's an issue with the namespace. Like if I actually come in here and create a new XML, create types from XML. So XML from a flow unless a namespace attribute is added. It doesn't give me anything about a namespace. So what the namespace is,
definition of what those basically what those things mean, right? Like because I guess XML isn't necessarily standardized, so you could put a tag for a TR, and that could be
the namespace, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a table row in one file and something else in another file, right? So it's basically like a definition is, I guess, the way I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, these are all really great questions. So, I mean, even if you wonder if you would still face the same issue, I might not have enough time for the rest of the session to actually configure this up quick enough. But I mean, some of the alternatives, it's like instead of using, I mean, the file shouldn't give you any issues though. So if it's a namespace issue, that's a good question. Here, I'm actually going to go walk over. I'm at our headquarters right now. So we have a guy here that's very familiar with our file system. So I'm actually going to bring this one up to him and see like what would be the best way to.
Yeah, because when I did that XML thing, what I would have expected it, like, I mean, I've done it from I've created a structure from like a JSON object before, and it basically creates me that guy. And if there's nested things, it basically like it creates me a data type for each of the different things inside there. I would have thought that it would have done that.
Done the same thing.
I think it doesn't know how because there's no namespace, you know.
So test with manual. So even if I just add it manually, because I did see when I went to go into the selection of the deserialization, I did see like the additional components that it created, or at least it looks like it created. So for example, Like I selected the configuration, but I also have like the location in here. I also have the provider web server. So maybe if I just like kind of,
Yeah. So what was I doing? So when I finally got it into there, it's almost like it's like it created a structure.
mm-hmm. So
Then
the,
when I went to the data explorer, it was just like it was a list of objects. It wasn't there
you
weren't
know,
necessarily properties, like if that makes any sense.
I think it throws it in some folder in the system where the XML data structures go, the data structures.
Uh,
You might, so if I actually type this in, I think I said web config v2. So there's the XML data structure. So you can see there's a configure. So create a native data type. So if I actually go and say manage open folder container, you can see that it's under system, designer, data structures, XML. So this is like where they all are. And then if I edit, I can only do description. So you had a namespace here. Is that correct? Like
yeah.
when say
I was getting
every,
the same warning that you were getting.
and then when you actually loaded the file, you
Yeah.
got an issue on this part of it.
Well, it didn't even create those other things. It only created one. Um, it only created one data structure.
So you did like that. What config? Okay. Let me see.
Oh,
So
it's because the encoding thing is hitting an invalid character.
oh, is it? Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, no worries. Like I said, I found a way around it, but
Okay. I'll still kind of look into this and see. So I mean, there's a couple things that I'm already gonna reach out back to you about, just so
okay.
at least you know for one of the questions you have, we'll have something coming in a new
Cool.
release.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's good. Well, thanks. I really appreciate it, David.
All right, yeah, appreciate y'all.
You should be seeing an email from me sometime today, or if not, early tomorrow morning. So,
All right, we'll holler at y'all later.
all right, sounds good. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys attending Lunch and Learn today. So, tune in tomorrow or some of the following days that we have. It's Monday through Thursday. So, thanks again. I hope everyone has a great day.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks. Bye.